Happy Pride! Let's get totally gay with some books that would most likely be banned in the state I live in. Hey there, creepy peeps. I'm Nightmare Maven. Welcome back to my channel. If you happen to be new here, I talk about horror movies and books like I am today all year round on this channel. So if you end up enjoying this, you should subscribe. And if you end up liking this video and you don't subscribe, that's homophobic. I made a video at the beginning of this year talking about all of the, at that time, upcoming horror books that I was really excited about. And since I made that video, so many other horror books have been announced. So I thought I would give you guys a list of some books that I'm personally really excited for that you can put on your TBR. And most of them are gay. Not all of them. Actually, potentially all of them could be. I don't know. I haven't read them yet, obviously. So coming out tomorrow, if you're watching this on Monday, we have what looks like the most fun graphic novel coming out called Boys Weekend by Mattie, Lubchansky. Really hope I said their name right. So the graphic novel takes place in this Vegas-esque town called El Campo, where our protagonist, a newly out trans artist, Sammy, has been invited to be the best man by their old college friend. The only problem being Sammy hasn't identified as a man in years and years. So at best, it's an awkward weekend on top of the strange cult that also happens to be at El Campo and is dismembering guests as sacrifices to their god. This just sounds super fun and campy. And I perused the author/illustrator's Instagram page and their art style looks so cute. I cannot wait to read this. I wouldn't call myself a graphic novel connoisseur, but I do enjoy graphic novels from time to time and this looks super fun. Next week on the 13th, TikTok sensation LaRocca is coming out with a new book called Everything the Darkness Eats, which is about a widower who ends up falling into like a world of like occult, dark magic in a small Connecticut town while local law enforcement is investigating the strange disappearances that keep happening in this town. I'm guessing it's related to the occult group. The summary for this is very vague. It's being described as being about like the darkness that is simmering under small town America where bigotry is left unrestrained. It's giving Spiral a bit, a little bit. I'm wondering if the summary is kind of like purposefully vague and maybe there's gonna be like some surprises or just to keep the plot kind of under wraps a little bit. Either way, I'm really excited to read this. And then on July 18th, we'll have a new Silvia Moreno-Garcia release. I am so stoked for Silver Nitrate. First and foremost, look at the cover. I'm gonna let it take up the screen for a second because it's just fucking gorgeous. Something about it just speaks to me on a spiritual level. So the book, set in Mexico City in the 90s, following a sound editor who is fed up with the male-dominated industry that she's in, ends up having to team up with her best friend who also happens to be a soap opera star to help a famous legendary director finish a film that is made on cursed silver nitrate stock. What? I'm gonna make this book my whole personality, I can already tell you. It reminds me of Night Film a little bit by Marisha Pestle, and I can't recommend that book enough. It was recommended to me by Sean from Nocturnal Horrors. One of the best book recommendations I've ever been given. And Silver Nitrate kind of reminds me of that a little bit, so I'm so stoked for this. On to the next book. We had so much fun discussing The Hacienda by Isabel Canas for Creepy Book Club, and I am so excited for her new book. So this new book, The Vampires of El Norte, hopefully I said that right. It takes place on the Texas-Mexico border in the 1840s. And it looks like it's gonna kind of follow two separated sweethearts, Nina, I'm not sure, and Nestor, who are brought back together in the midst of war when the United States was invading Mexico. If that weren't enough to contend with, there's also vampires stalking them in the night that they also have to face off against. And it just feel like I've been in a desert and the only water, the only sustenance I need is vampire westerns. Please, for the love of every god ever, more vampire westerns, please. And clearly August 29th is just gonna be the best day ever. Not only will we be getting The Vampires of El Norte, but we'll also be getting a book called Night of the Living Queers. I feel like I know y'all well enough to know that just telling you that title alone, you're already sold. So basically, Night of the Living Queers is Ron DeSantis' worst nightmare, which means it's everything I could have asked for in a book. So this is a YA horror anthology where all of the stories are about BIPOC LGBTQ plus teens, and all of the stories take place on the most magical night of the year, Halloween. I don't mean to sound presumptuous, but I feel like this is the best book of the year. And it hasn't even come out yet. In September, we'll have What Kind of Mother by McLeod Chapman. So sorry. So the book's gonna hit shelves on September 12th. And I recently read Ghost Eaters by this same author, which is an incredible book, by the way, highly recommend. And the reason I came across that book and this author in general is because back when I did my horror education video about Night of the Creeps, I came across an article written by this author about how JC was queer coded in that movie, which is what my video was about. Anyways, just giving you a little background as to how I found this book. What Kind of Mother follows Mattie, who is forced to return to her hometown with her 17-year-old daughter after striking out on her own as a teen mom years and years ago. So she has a job as a palm reader now, and it's all going well until she reads the palm of one of her childhood friends and she starts having super disturbing visions surrounding a missing, presumed dead child. And I can tell you right now, if this book is even half as like special and unique as Ghost Eaters was, I'm gonna love it. All right. Y'all know I love Shirley Jackson. And if you're new here, hi, I love Shirley Jackson. I am so stoked about A Haunting on the Hill by Elizabeth Hand that is coming out on October 3rd. So the story is gonna follow a character, Holly, who is a playwright, and a play she's been working on is going into development. So she's making her big break. So she decides to rent Hill House for a month to finish her play. So Holly's girlfriend and a whole troupe of actors decide to stay with her in Hill House, and I can only imagine Hill House is gonna do its thing. I cannot wait. This is the first authorized novel to return to Hill House, and it's overtly gay. So now when I corner customers at work to tell them how Haunting of Hill House is a queer horror classic, I can now also hand sell them this book in the process. All right, so I guess Halloween is on a Tuesday this year because on October 31st, we'll see the release of Nestlings by Nat Cassidy. So Nestlings will be following a character, Anna, who is, the summary says she's paralyzed after giving birth. I'm not sure the details on that, but she's paralyzed after giving birth to her and her husband Reed's child. They end up lucking out and winning the housing lottery in the form of an affordable apartment overlooking Central Park. As you can imagine, there's a catch. Weird shit starts happening. Typical husband in a horror movie behavior. Reed dismisses everything that's happening, but soon can't ignore the strange needle-like marks appearing on his newborn child. This sounds disturbing and strange, and it's giving Rosemary's Baby a little bit. I feel like they made this summary perfectly vague towards like, it's got a hook, it's just interesting enough to make me need to know what's going on. All right, and then finally, I think I've saved the best for last, honestly. At least for me. I don't know if you guys will be quite as excited about this as I am. November 7th, I definitely will be buying Gorgeous Gruesome Faces by Linda Cheng. This book combines all three of my personalities, and in case you weren't aware, my three personalities are spooky bitch, raging lesbian, and K-pop obsessive. Never, never in my wildest dreams did I ever think I would ever see a book that combined all three of those things. So the story follows Sunny, who is attending a K-pop workshop in order to restart her career after tragedy and scandal caused her previous group to disband. While at the workshop, Sunny runs into one of her former group mates, Candy, but instead of getting a happy reunion, Sunny starts being plagued with ghastly and terrifying visions. Soon, various competitors at the workshop start turning up, just gruesomely dismembered. A sapphic K-pop thriller is an automatic 5 out of 5 for me. I don't even have to read it to know, but I am gonna read it if it wasn't clear. So there you have it. Those are the books I'm most excited for this last half of 2023 here. Please share the upcoming books you're excited about in the comments so we can all add them to our TBR. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here. Become a creepy peep today. It's free and it's Pride Month. Support a gay. Subscribe. I will see you soon with a new video. Until then, stay strange. Bye.